que mi gente? This your boy D once again, coming to you guys ready to drop some love and a little bit of knowledge. As you guys can see, I've been away for a little bit taking off these videos, not because I would chose to, but my health was not getting better, so I had to put a stop to it. Now that the chest tube is out, it's giving me a little bit more freedom to move around, do things, breathe a little better, and make these videos. Today the topic, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, is gonna be discussing, it's gonna be like an update regarding MS13 and his beef and the federal prison and where they stand and if they're gonna wave the white flag. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to leave down a comment, let me know what you think, if you like the video or not, if you want to hear more about MS, hit me up, let me know. I'll get back at you guys as soon as I can. So with that being said, let's get into the topic. Today's topic is gonna be answering a few questions from a few subscribers. They have asked me while in the live. Also, they have asked me through my IG or through the comments. They've been asking me about when I'm gonna do an update, what's going on with the Fed faction, what's going on with the beef. So this video is for you guys. And once they always support me and ask me questions, and I always try to give you guys nothing but the truth and pure facts. And that's what I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on facts. I got this information from friends, people that were involved in this incident and are no longer part of the movement. And also I got this information for people that still fighting to get back to the yards and they're still in the Fed system. So I'm not getting it for a third party. I'm getting it from the horse's mouth. So I'm gonna relay it to you guys. As like I told you guys before in my videos, I still speak to a lot of the people from the neighborhood I was from. I came home in good standings. I never dropped out, never checked in. But I came home to do my family thing, which was respected. Even though they trying to impose the old school rule on a lot of us now, they're doing the family thing. Basically, the dudes from LA have came up with the old school rule. They have been banished. But now, this character, this Pili, or this senor that's now part of this from MS13, Cisco, he's trying to impose the rule that if you're speaking on barrio business, if you're speaking regarding anything in the barrio, or if you go around the neighborhood basically, and you introduce yourself with your placazo, your barrio, you're gonna be called upon to get activated again. Meaning if you're doing your family thing, if you're doing work thing, and by some chance you go to a club to have a couple drinks or to a bar and you run into a couple homeboys and you start talking and you get drunk and there's some youngsters there, they'll push up on you guys and you bang on them. That can give them the right to activate you for you to come back and start doing barrio business. If you refuse to do so, the consequence can be a little deadly. They could tax you, which will be the less severe consequence, or they will call you up in the middle if you still refuse to get activated to follow rules, follow the program. They can DP you. If that's not enough, they can take your life, which is something that I don't agree on. A lot of people doesn't agree with an old rule getting imposed, but it is what it is because opinions haven't been formed regarding this issue. Will MS13 go back to program with Southsiders under the Sur program and the Feds? And I say in the Feds because in the state, nothing had changed. In the state, every MS13 gang member that's there is programming under the Sur program. It's following the Señores rules. It's adapting to their new umbrella, to the new structure. It's following whatever Cisco says so. Which to me is a shame because a lot of the things that are being put up to do are nothing but cash money hungry and for the benefit of them. And I will give you one example. The rent collection that the hoods collects. It used to be 50% used to go to whatever senor the barrio was responsible to, answer to. The other 50% was sent down to El Salvador to the older homeboys to make sure they were okay. Now that's not being done like that anymore. Now El Salvador doesn't even have an opinion of what takes place with the program over here in down south. And people are gonna say, well, in El Salvador they can, because most of them are locked up. Yeah, that's true. Most of them they're still locked up. A lot of them are locked up. But still, there's still ways to get communication and money to them. There's still some protocols and places. It's just they chose to ignore them because Cisco says so. So they're minimizing the whole foundation of what MS was, becoming made by Salvadoran, the program of the Ranfla Nacional being always in the motherland is being now ignored and put on a shine just because this character is choosing to kiss ass to his senor, they're his padrinos, the people he's answered to here. So him getting made, what happened to the beneficial, the betterment for the gente, the betterment for the barrio? Him getting made as MS13 didn't have brought nothing but headaches and divisions because there's a lot of homeboys that don't agree with his way of doing things. But if they speak about him or they speak up on him bad, they get dealt with. And a lot of people now are choosing to keep their opinions to themselves. Well, I'm choosing to say, hell no, I don't like it. I'm gonna speak my mind. So that's why I said the feds program, because the state MS still fall on the Sur 13 program under the M authority. So in the feds now, there was a moment where some homeboys wanted to go back to the program. They wanted to go back to keep programming because as of for right now, there are places on the yard by themselves. Programming with other races, yes, but no sureños allowed. Basically, it's the MS. And they're all being housed, most of them are being housed in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. That's where a lot of them are at. That's when the trampoline is going to other prisons. And if you get to a mid-level, basically like a lower yard, they're sending you to a different yard prison, but it's still being done the same. All MS13 guys in one yard and the sureños are in another yard. They're not being mixed. And I will tell you why. It's not gonna stop. That word is not gonna stop. And I will tell you why. The incident that took place, and not only did happen the incident with Coco, it also happened in Boma and in another place where in Boma it was the most deadly one and the most incriminating one for the barrio, because the person that got killed out of those two individuals, Pineda and the other guy, one of them supposedly was a senor. There were confusion whether he was actually a senor or he was just on good grace and knew a lot of them and had juice and pool. But we were told the dude was from Wilmas. The homie from Wilmas that got killed on the riot that happened on Boma was a senor. I don't know if it was Rojas or Pineda, but one of those two victims were supposedly a validated M member and supposedly he had the votes. So this is where I think the friction is gonna come to. East Coast, homeboys, MS, everybody from East Coast that are representing the whole East Coast car. There was a division at first. Some of them wanted to go back to the program, some of them didn't. But the one person that's in the middle of this situation that it will be hard to convince is that person responsible for the riot that kicked off in Boma, Moreira, aka Staki. So Rivas Moreira, aka Staki, is a homeboy that's well known throughout the whole federal prison system and is also well respected in the streets and is well loved in the streets as and in the federal system as well. And a lot of homeboys are backing them up. And the agreement they were trying to reach was everybody that got involved in those incidents involving MS, Russian sureños, Russian carnales, they were deemed no good, and that the only way they could get back was for those people to get handled by their own. So basically, the choice they had gave the homeboys was, you guys take care of you guys' issue. All you guys is, here's the list of the guys we don't want in the yard. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to see them. These guys are no good. Staki name come up on the list. But that's a huge problem because Staki got a lot of backing and within MS. So a lot of homeboys are not willing to let Staki get hit. A lot of homeboys are not willing to let Staki get served in a platter, in a silver platter, and say, here he is. Because a lot of homeboys feel the same way Staki and other homeboys feel. Like they were being abused, they were being mistreated, and they finally stood up for themselves. Even with a sanction hit that happened with Coco, which was a sanction hit, that repercussion that took place afterwards should have never done that because it escalated the issue in Boma in the other prison. It kicked off a domino effect. If that incident would have been isolated, Coco would have got hit, they would have cleared all the people that got involved, and everything would have been smooth. The homeboys would have never have reacted that way and rushed him. But since after the incident with Coco, the word that landed on the yards were hit every MS member, get him off the yards, they got him doing. But see, Staki order didn't came from those yards. Because when that incident happened, a week later that incident happened in Boma, he received his order from La Ranfla Nacional. The big homies and El Salvador decided they had enough. They were not going to allow it to be disrespecting the letters. They were not going to allow it to disrespect the program. And that the homeboys should take action. That they were tired of being looked down upon, being minimized, being discredited. And they were just being used. They never looked as valuable as one of the homeboys. They never really value the homeboys. They never really value everything that the cause had participated for the M. Everything MS had done, pegadas, the money, the favors, everything that the homeboys had done, never got looked on and say, you know what, you guys are right. You guys have been working for years. You guys kept you guys' head down. We're gonna give you 1 or 2 pilis, communicate with your gente down in Salvador, form the organization, and let's keep this thing going. But no, the M wanted to just make a pili that they can manipulate it and kick the homeboys in El Salvador to the side and let the señor from the barrio manipulate everybody else and let the ISCO come in, Texas homeboys, Arizona homeboys, and every other state that was not under the SUR program to come in and get inducted into the SUR program, which was not happening because the homeboys from Ranfla Nacional, the program down there was saying, Chales, we're not gonna get kicked out. This is our organization. We're stronger now. We have been always the frontliners. We have been always the torpedoes. And what thank you receive? This dude respecting the homeboys. This dude respecting the letters. They were well aware of the disrespect that Coco was doing. And that's why they agree. They came to an agreement for that head to be sanctioned because they were full aware of what he was doing. Coco was already in a hot seat due to the bulliness he was doing, abusing his power, abusing his authority. That already came to the señor's ear. So he was already on hot water. Then when he started respecting the homeboys went out at him and told him, hey, this dude, ¿qué onda? He keep disrespecting us. Some say, oh no, they didn't sanction it, they didn't say nothing, but to the person that was involved, as I got it from him, was they said, Simon, you do what you have to do. We back you up anyways. So the homeboys rushed this fool in the cell, stopped putting hands on him. Then this individual, because it is in a report, I'm trying to get that report on my hands now. My hands on that report. But it is in the incident report where he comes out in his cell yelling for the police and yelling, they trying to kill me. And after he noticed that the police wasn't going to help him, he turned to his people there, the Sureños, and were like, these fools are trying to kill me, help me. And that's when they kicked off the whole melee. His homeboys jumped, some of the people that were there, they knew his status, jump, and they kicked off. But the incident in Boma had nothing to do with Coco's incident. That call was placed from the Rampla Nacional to this dude. And Staki got palabra because Staki was there. Like I said, he's well known. He's always been in the political system. They got a hand with like, these fools don't want to give up. These fools keep trying to blaze their homies. Every single time they're up for transfer, they're butchering the homies. We can letting this happen. We cannot let our homeboys get hurt. So they told Staki, go ahead, do what you got to do. So Staki handled his business with the rest of the homeboys. Now, when they put Staki on the list, a lot of homeboys said Chales. Even some of them that were agreeing to trying to go back to the program from the East Coast, they were on the fence. They were like, we don't know. When that name came up, saying we got to get rid of Staki, that's when they got off the fence and said, Chales, we're not letting the homeboy get touched. Not happening. 20th Street involvement in all of this is that they're pushing to try to go back to the SUR program. Yes, they are. They are pushing. But there's up in the air. Some of the homeboys from 20th Street want some go back. Some of them don't. And some of them do because they got so used to being under that system, under the umbrella, that they feel like they cannot do more, especially being in one yard. They're not allowed to have the freedom they have while communicating and networking in all the yards. But they haven't got off the fence. Some homeboys from the Doves from 20th Street want to go back, some of them don't. And it got to the point where a few of them have already checked in and went to the other side, SNY, because they don't want to deal with the issue no more. They wouldn't allow it to be programmed no more. So they just challenge. But at the same time, a lot of situations keep taking place. When they did let some homeboys, they did try to integrate some homeboys in the yard for East Coast and from the area. And they got rushed by the Sureños in the yard. They rushed them. So the homeboys question is, you guys telling us we cool to come back, but some of your carnales don't feel the same way. They're saying Chales rushed them. So it's a division within that organization as well. They wanted to come back because of the benefit that will get them. They will get the money, the taxes, they will get torpedoes, they will get this and this. And you best believe they do come to an agreement which is far-fetched. Now the way I'm seeing and the way it's being communicated, relaying back to me, that is far-fetched. That they will go back to programming with the Sureños. That they're rather just, now that this issue started and is being separated, they rather just create the whole program within their own and just start taking a yard for them. Which to me, in my opinion, is way better if they continue to do their own thing, their own program. They don't need nobody else. They have the means, their resource to start getting money, to start developing relationships. You know why? Because a lot of people don't like the organization. And since they're in the yard with all the races, with all the things, we can develop communication. We can develop our own thing. We can start doing business transaction. We can still do what MS does. But the thing is, they thought the Federal Prison Board was going to put them on SNY yard, which is something none of them want. They made that huge clear. They're like, the whole Ramfla don't want to go that route. If the lead was in GP, program on GP, even if the lead was in one prison, we good. We're Gucci. But if they try to mix us, then it's gonna be consequence. But for what I'm getting is that organization is always conflicted. Some of them want him back, some of them don't. Some of them want to just use him. Some of them don't even want nothing to do with them. But the feeling that I'm getting and the words that's being relayed to me, at least with the message I'm getting from the homeboys and the Fed, is that they already pushed to try to go back. They never gave him the answer. They kept delaying it and delaying it. All that they got was the list of homeboys that needed to be handled before they went back to then they will be received with welcome arms. But since East Coast is not allowing Staki to get hit, and there's gonna be other homeboys that won't allow the other individual won't be able to get hit, but Staki is the main factor in this whole thing. He's the one that basically is pushing, let's get our own program, let's do this. And he got the backing of a lot of people. Now, so all the homeboys are getting to see the picture his way as well. Because, at least to me, it looks like, homie, we've been oppressed for so long. We had done so many favores. We had done this and that. How many señoras have they gave us? They don't want no Salvadorian whatsoever. But they say we all for the raza, we all for the gente. That's bullcrap, because Salvadorians are raza, they're gente too. But they will never accept, they never would inductee a Salvadorian as an M member, because they don't want no Salvadorian to stain the line with only Mexicans. But no disrespect, and no disrespect to the death, and no disrespect to people that are still pushing. And I say no disrespect to the death is because Joe Morgan, which one of the main factors for the Mafia Mexicana, was not Mexican. He was basically German with like Croatian or something like that. Some of the main factors were he's in full-blooded Mexicans. So how come they now want to say it's only Mexicans only, when they started it wasn't pure Mexicans blood? And you cannot tell me, oh, because they put in the work. What about the work that the homeboys have put in throughout this whole years? In the 90s, when we start being others and became under the Sur program because of the agreement that came about, they used those like left and right and discard you. Any favor needs to be done, send them fools from MS. Any pegada needs to be handled, send them fools from MS. Because the one that approved that they were above us, they were our bosses, so they kept a feet under right here in the neck. And on their mind, we were like, we won't let them grow, so they don't overpower. Now that the organization, MS, has been transnational organization that can do dealings and everything around the world, they saw the potential we have. They try to give us crumbs. Now, that's what I'm gathering from the homeboys, that they're not willing to go back and program with them. Now, that was one of the questions. There was two other questions that somebody asked me, and then I'm going to give my opinion regarding this thing. Somebody asked me, would the MS13 align with the NF to fight the Mexican Mafia. And I will say this, my humble opinion, I will say no, they wouldn't align, and I will tell you why. There has been already a lot of blood spilled between MS and Norteños in the Northern California area, at least from 20th Street. Plus, in the federal prison, in the system, we have fought them in the riots as well. And there's homeboys or family or homeboys that have been done dirty here in NorCal by Norteños or whatever, or they have run up on them, whatever the factor might be. But that is one factor. Blood's already been spilled. I don't think that MS will drop the 3 and pick up the 14 because it wouldn't make no sense. El Salvador would not allow it. The Rampla would not allow it down there. But also, I think the NF wouldn't try to accept that proposition if I ever got brought up. And I'll tell you why. Because I think the NF right now in the States especially is weak on power. It's not as strong as it used to be. And I think they will be afraid of the repercussions that the M would take against them if they were to align with somebody, with one of their enemies. Because the Mexican Mafia now is viewing them as the enemy, at least the ones in the feds. So I don't think the NF is willing to take a war over taking in an alliance with MS and going to war with the Mexican Mafia. I don't think they're willing to do that. I don't think right now they have the strength to go to war. And I think they're too manipulated already by the Mexican Mafia already. Watch their head. I don't think they would do that. I think it will be a dangerous move. So, and plus there will be if on both sides. Like if the NF is setting them up, or are we setting the NF up? So there was always gonna be that iffy question, like if this fool's gonna serve us on the platter or what the hell's gonna happen. So that's why I think there will never be an alliance between MS and the NF. And then the other question somebody asked me was, with MS finally split off the Sur and start running the oil program worldwide, if the MS stay firm right now and decide to really just split off from the Fed faction, I think that's gonna be like a domino effect, because the people that get parole and go to the barrio is gonna do that. Because right now, there's still homeboys from down south LA, they're calling the cliques down the East Coast and everywhere else, trying to get them to come in and respect the decision Cisco had made, that is peace with the Mexican Mafia, there's no beef, everything is okay, and then to align and start working with them. But see, you gotta look at the homeboys from the East Coast and everything, all the surrounding areas are looking at like, oh no, we had never need you from the beginning, so why would we need you now? You guys had never lent a hand. You guys had never come over here and done bottles for us. Nah, we answer to the Ramfla Nacional. We answer to the program. And we're gonna keep answering to the program down there in El Salvador, because that's where it's supposed to be. Our big homies are down there. Our loved ones are down there. Whether he likes it or not, the Barrio Mara Salvatrucha stand for because Salvadorians made it. And this is no disrespect and no jab to the Mexicans. So I love my Mexican people. But they came into the picture after the barrio was already established. That's why it's called Mara Salvatrucha. Because they don't call Mara Chapina because it's not made by Guatemalans. It doesn't call Mara Nicaragüense because it's not made by Nicaraguans. It was made, born, and birthed and created by Salvadorians. And that's a true fact. yeah, a lot of homeboys, they got deported back to the motherland, went and established cliques over there like Diablito from Hollywood, El Viejo Tigre de Parview. There's a few homeboys, Camarón from Normandy's. There's a lot of homeboys that have been around, they have created program when we used to go at it with the crazy riders in El Salvador. And there's a lot of homeboys down there that got well-known respect throughout and through the systems. But here they're getting minimized. They look upon like, forget them. So that's why I think, in my opinion is, I think the homeboys should stay doing the program. And I say homeboys because I still got friends from that side. Not because I'm game banging. But I think the MS should still program on their own. They should break off completely. If they choose to keep the treses, it was well earned anyways. They came, but they will still be paying homage to the Mexican Mafia. So I think they should drop, because a lot of homies don't even say MS13. A lot of homies just say Mara Salvatrucha or MS. A lot of homies don't say MS13. So I think they should just drop their 13 and continue to be Mara Salvatrucha like they've always been, and get their own program together in the Feds. There's a lot of field out there that they can do business on, and they can create things. They can make things happen. But as I hear it from the word mouth, that's what that mind is. That's what they're heading. As I got it from good sources, that they're gonna try to break off and do their own program anyways. That's at least the feedback I'm getting. Yeah, there's still some few individuals, little factions here and there. They're saying, Charles, we're gonna push to get back to the program because that's all they know. And they don't want to deal with the repercussions when they come either to the States or whatnot. But as of right now, MS is still beefing with Sureños, and they're not programming the Feds with them at all right now. MS got his own yard separated from the Sureños. They're being housed in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Most of them, like about 90% of them, are housed there. And the other 10%, there's the lower levels, mid-levels, the middle levels, and the lower levels, they're being housed different else. But well, I think they're still gonna keep pushing the mess. I think they will. And I think then doing their own program should be the best way. With that being said, man, I hope I answer all you guys' questions. I hope I answer every single doubt that you guys have. If I didn't, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you want to know more about it. And I'll get back at you as soon as I can with another video. With that being said, man, thank you. You guys already know. Let's get it.